Hello everyone and welcome back to another Bitcoin portfolio update video. If you are new, basically what I do in this playlist that I'm creating is go over on a weekly basis my Bitcoin or my core Bitcoin portfolio. I go over an alternative portfolio that I have with BITU as well, and then what I'm doing with it, what the two positions look like. While BITU is more of an active portfolio, this is more of a passive one throughout this bull cycle. And then I give my opinions as well on Bitcoin charts, what I'm looking for, what I'm thinking is going to be happening, how I'm making sense of it, and I'm going to be going over as well Mara stock and MicroStrategy, as well as some few little extra things here, just giving my opinion on everything. And since I will be giving my opinions, just keep in mind this is not financial advice. This is just a way for me to document what's happening, where I am right now in life with these assets, and as well, again, not financial advice, just a way for me to document this and share it with you guys as well. So basically, to go over the two portfolios real quick, we are finally back in the green with Bitcoin. So we invested $80,000. As you guys can see, I ended up adding up to that since quite a few months ago, earlier this year. I have not touched the portfolio since. We are finally up in the green by $2,700. Average price $70,119. I always forget if that includes fees or not. Either way, I think adding up to this portfolio overall, I think I only paid like no more than $300 in fees. And then 1.139 Bitcoin is what we have. It's currently valued at just over $82,000, with Bitcoin currently at just over 72,000. So, and when it comes to the BitU position in a different portfolio, let me open up that brokerage real quick so I can share with you guys. But I'm gonna have pictures up here going over what it looks like. So, one moment. So this is what I'm gonna take a screenshot. This is what the current position looks like. We're up $1,400 as of this moment. We invested a total of like just over 10,000. If I can see this. Just over 10,000 portfolio, or the positions were currently 11,543. So yeah, it's looking good. I still see more potential upside before I look to start selling this position again, but I actively buy and sell in that to try to take advantage of Bitcoin fluctuation. But let me go ahead and give you guys a quick breakdown on what I'm looking for. So if you guys have been watching for a while, you know that we've been trying to figure out what's going to happen inside this triangle pattern. When I say we, I say, we've been looking at prices potentially going higher into this green area, but with the possibility of prices still coming down to here. Although if it were to come down to here, I kept saying that this is going to be very short-lived. It's not something that it shouldn't take more than 24 hours. Instead, we just started breaking up even higher, which is okay because we did reach minimum requirements twice. We broke briefly into this retracement area twice right here. So good opportunity to buy if you guys been watching this asset at that time. And then of course we did kind of bottom out on the RSI right here. We never ended up topping it out. We came back down. Not surprising, it super short-lived, although ideally I would have liked to see this come down a little bit more. Maybe it would have been a great reason to add more and give people more time, give investors and traders more time to accumulate. But regardless, we did break up higher finally. We broke past this swing high right here, this B wave swing high. And now we are looking to move towards our smaller structure third wave, which is going to top out in this area right here. So what I'm looking for is, I'm still looking at higher prices. A wick didn't even come into this area. And if you guys are aware, this orange line right here, this is actually the all-time high point right here, just underneath 74,000, like 73,800. We didn't touch that either. We kind of got rejected, barely reaching it. And we start coming down a little bit more. Now, I'm not going off of this, but there's a lot of people out there, and it's completely valid because everyone has their own strategy. But this is easily seen as a, if I'm saying this correctly, a bullish flag pattern, which will then cause the price to jump up a little bit higher from there as well. So if I can draw this out nicely, yeah, something like that. So it's looking real good. There's still a lot of momentum here. We are pretty oversold, or overbought, I should say, on the RSI. But regardless, my personal plan and how I'm approaching this when it comes to at least BITU, because you already know the Bitcoin position right here, the core Bitcoin position, where I have just over 1 Bitcoin. I do not intend to even touch this position until we reach into this area. And I'm not even selling all of it within this area either. This is just where I'm looking to potentially begin selling. I did want to start selling slowly, shaving out of it, starting at 100,000. But I thought I'm being too strict with that, too conservative. I threw that plan out the window. Now I'm just gonna personally, and what I am doing is, once we reach into this area, then that's when I'm gonna start thinking of potentially shaving a small portion out of the position. But I do see prices easily even breaking up much higher than this area as well. Don't worry about this fourth wave or even the fifth wave. All of this is just temporary right there. That's going to change in the future. But short term, I am seeing higher prices coming into this area before I begin to potentially sell out of a portion out of BITU, the position I just shared with you guys a screenshot of. So yeah, I'm just looking at higher prices. We can easily see this fall down a little bit more because we have some imbalance right here. You guys already know I use imbalance as potential magnets for whatever asset we're looking at. So we have a potential magnet down to the 70.5K level. So I wouldn't be surprised if the price comes down and then retests this orange line down here before moving up higher. That's completely possible as well. And if you guys consider the current, and I'm going to delete it right after, but if you consider the current structure and what that looks like, it overlaps, as you can see, for a reasonable retracement for this overall area. Especially if you're looking at daily candles, you can see some in this area right here, more imbalance. So this overlaps that quite well. Very, very, you know what, I'm going to leave it actually. It overlaps it quite well. It's not something I'm going to be personally paying too much attention to, but I wouldn't be surprised if this happens and it'll create a much more healthy setup for the price to go higher. But if this is truly a bullish flag pattern, if I'm reading this correctly, then yeah, we should continue to see this higher, and we should see all-time highs being retested for sure, like actually retested, and then yeah, there we go, that's better. And then finally reaching into this green area we have right here. With that being said, if you guys pay attention to these heat maps, we'll do 1 week. This actively changes throughout, every moment of the day, and there was a lot more stronger liquidations, a much more noticeable line in right here where we topped out at. So that acted as a resistance. We came back down, and we're seeing pretty decent amount of accumulation for bullish liquidations down here. So that we can easily see this acting as a support, and if that is true, we can just be seeing a temporary support being created right there, just to see the price kind of start pushing up higher. But all this is just what ifs. Like we just need time for it to play out. We have 1 more day left of October, so we'll see how that goes. And then we also have elections coming up real soon, in like 6 days or something like that. So we have a lot of just fluctuations and just price is just trying to do its thing. With that being said, we can easily see a retest of the current swing high, because as you can see, we have much more resistance there on the buy bit portion. I don't see why we wouldn't retest even if we get rejected. So short term, that looks good. OKX kind of has that a little bit easier to look at right there. And then we'll just look at one more. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a retest of that swing high at a minimum, but for sure, I'm leaning more towards all-time highs finally actually being retested, not this previous swing high, but actually all-time highs breaking up into this area right here. So we're almost there. Like, we're almost there. So yeah, things are looking real good with this. I don't see much weakness, although in an ideal world, we could see this being retested. It'll create a much more healthy setup. And but we'll see what happens. And then we are actually over 10% so far in October. We'll see how the rest of this evening goes, and then we'll see, of course, how tomorrow, which is Halloween, we'll see how the last day of October goes as well. So we can potentially see this tomorrow, the last day of October, but we could potentially even see that being a good retest of that previous swing high. So things are looking good. It looks a little bit more strong to me than weak, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, guys, still holding on to that BITU position. It's nicely into the green for that. So I think that's what is that, like I don't know, 14% up or something like that. And then of course Bitcoin, we're finally back in the green. It's nice to see this portfolio actually showing some unrealized gains. So we are we're up. We went from 80,000 invested. We've been down like over 10,000 in the unrealized return, negative over 10,000 quite a few times, and it keeps going up to being even, and then it keeps getting rejected. And but finally we'll see what happens. It can easily come down and we'll be in the red once again, but it's nice to see this portfolio finally into the green, which means once Bitcoin reaches high 80s, like 88 or 89,000, this portfolio should be worth 100K at least. So I'm very excited to see that. I'm very excited to see this happen. And I'll keep documenting the journey along the way. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Either later tonight or tomorrow, I'll make a more detailed. Oh, I forgot to go over. I'll make a more detailed video on Mara and MicroStrategy, and again a little bit more detail on Bitcoin. But yeah, I almost forgot. Let me give you guys my opinion on this real quick. So you guys already know that I am using. So I'm gonna go over this if you're new, but basically, I'm gonna delete this one. What I have here is an accumulation area that we've been using for quite some time. It's been respected quite well. Prices never broke below the most bottom line right here. I kept respecting it quite well to accumulate. The gap between the red and the green is an area where I like to just not do anything, just watch the stock, because every time it reaches into this area, it gets very volatile and it tries to decide which direction it wants to have a break of structure. But so that's why it's important to be patient. And then once we go into this area, this green area is the first level of confirmation, or bullish price action confirmation. And then second level is between the green and the blue. And then third level is in this area, which is where I'm looking to really a bit more aggressively get out of this position. I really have nothing invested in this right now. I want to see more strength being shown in this first level confirmation for me to want to buy, actually buy a reasonable amount. But the reason I'm being very cautious still is because we did break into this. We consolidated quite a bit. Remember those 4-hour candles? We consolidated quite a bit, but then we broke down, indicating that the price strength isn't strong enough to hold it. We came down, we found support, we came back up. Regardless, we found support at basically just under the 50 on the RSI. I would have ideally liked to see this come a bit lower, at least 40 or below. But that's okay. It came up higher and it didn't even top it out either. So this is very interesting. To me, I would not be surprised if the price breaks below this 0.35 once again. or I think tomorrow, actually. Is it tomorrow? Well, sometime this week we have a very important, like, some macroeconomic stuff. So there's some calendar events, and then next week we have a interest rate announcement from the Federal Reserve. So we just got to keep an eye on that and see what the price action looks like leading up to it. But it is expected that a 0.25 interest rate cut is going to happen, which is very likely, and I agree. But again, remember, prices can factor this in ahead of time. So I would not be surprised if this were to break below the 0.35 once again. We are trading below this moving average on the RSI. So again, let's see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised. A pretty strong bearish candle to close the day. Even though post-market we did go up quite a bit, not too much. But yeah, guys, it's very important to be just patient with the stock, even though we are trading that first level confirmation just yet. I cannot confirm this first level to actually be hit. There's just too much weakness still on this chart short term. But I do believe that any moment this price breaks down below, I may be looking at potentially actually begin buying like a decent amount, maybe like maybe like 100 shares or so at once. But we'll see. But there's still a little bit more weakness showing here. I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks down a little bit more. And again, this break below the 0.35 kind of ruined the momentum it's been having. So this push up is just a more of like, in my opinion, a reaction to an overreaction, and then we'll see what happens, because even though we broke over this structure right here, it's creating another high. But again, I want to see this. I want to see this show weakness once again, and then again see if it's going to recover. That'll give me more confidence on what the price action really looks like. But I do see the price coming below the 0.35 once again. We'll see, right? I'll keep you guys updated on that. MicroStrategy. So yeah, it's been a while since I talked about this. It's been like a few days. I kind of covered it on one of my previous videos, but basically we were around here, and then I had this value gap, right? So this imbalance showing a potential magnet, and then very, very briefly it did. The price came in here intraday, and then it showed that we reached minimum requirements inside this area, also pushing down into the lower boundaries of this orange retracement. So minimum requirements were hit, and then from there we started pushing up higher for way too long, and this is mostly driven with hype. It really is, in my opinion, through hype. MicroStrategy has earnings reporting soon. I'm not going to talk about that. I haven't really done my research enough in the actual like core business of MicroStrategy to talk about their earnings. So I'm just going to talk about the charts, because at the end of the day, I still feel like the charts have value tied to it. And then regardless of what the earnings looks like, even if it's good, the chart is still going to tell you, which way value wants to move to really evaluate the company a little bit better. Regardless, what we have going on is okay. So we came down to your minimum requirements were met. We started breaking up higher. Since we started breaking up higher and we broke over this previous swing high right here, that shows that a potential break of structure is happening. So ahead of time, we were down here. We're holding above this candle quite well, and I said, it looks like there's a lot of momentum being built right here. Regardless of the overvaluation of the stock, there's enough momentum being built, enough strength showing over this price, over this swing high got broken above, which tells me that this could potentially be a break of structure or a way for the stock to form liquidity to then move in the opposite direction. But regardless, because the candles closed and kept showing price strength above this, regardless of the RSI being higher, being quite overbought, it tells me that there's enough momentum to push the price even higher. So I gave you guys this green area right here. I'm gonna give you guys potentially a where is that fourth? Where is it? Oh, here it is. I'll give you guys a potential fourth wave soon, not just yet. I want to see what the rest of the week is going to look like, and then potentially I'll be able to give you guys a fourth wave possibility over the weekend leading into next week, which is election week in the US. But regardless, yeah, we broke into this area quite well. Again, pushing this RSI even higher, creating this really nice uptrend, just pushing it higher like crazy. So with that being said, we made it into this green area. It was a nice trade to buy down here. Broke up in this area. Any of you that took advantage of this opportunity, good for you. But I would be chill. There's still a possibility of a retest up here. But I would just not let hype get in the way. I'm just gonna sit back. I'm gonna watch this throughout the rest of the week, and then I'll give you guys another update on this either tonight or tomorrow or this weekend. Whenever I do another video, I'll update you guys on this once again. Most likely, I can't say too much tonight because the market's closed now, but tomorrow I'll definitely be able to give you guys a little something on this stock. But yeah, we made it into this green, so it worked out quite well. Now we gotta see what that looks like going forward throughout the rest of this week, because it's gonna be a very important week, leading of course into next week, which is another very important week in the US. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope these charts made sense to you. Again, super just happy to see this portfolio back into the green. I'm not going to touch it whatsoever. Bitcoin is only at 72,000. I see this going much higher throughout the rest of this year and of course next year. But yeah, we're finally back in the green. Good stuff. Yeah, guys, I'll catch you guys soon. Take care.